network, there is risk of being not correct, right? So there is not a problem with the network. The plasma thing is also used the section have similar problem. So right now the people, their mindset is still kind of still using the same mindset. And their structure of the blockchain is the same. We are different. We basically overcome the limitation of certain things in the blockchain.
I have another question, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
This is an economic question, just interested in your opinion. As I understand it, with Bitcoin, it's exchangeable. There are Bitcoin exchange rates into US dollar, into you name it. But there are no Bitcoin interest rates. If there were a Bitcoin interest rate, what number do you think it would be? So if the Federal Reserve has Fed funds at 0.5%, what would the Bitcoin interest rate be?
I think Bitcoin technically it's very difficult to implement the interest because the Bitcoin system do not have a centralized organization. No company, no organization responsible for manage the Bitcoin network.
There's nothing to stop a bank setting a Bitcoin interest rate. This is like
no,
private money.
Yeah, you're right. If some bank like Russia, suppose they wanted more Bitcoin to flow into Russia, then technically Russia can say, hey, I'm going to, like Russia have an interest in about 10% for the ruble, right? It's very high. If I'm the Russia bank central banker, I would say, yeah, why not doing a Bitcoin interest rate like central bank suggested? It's a good idea for Russia, right? If they have that, maybe even 1%, all the Bitcoin will flow to Russia, right? Everybody will store the Bitcoin in Russia. That way, Russia can get more Bitcoin and more wealth, right? Because when more Bitcoin go to Russia, Russia technically can sell some of the Bitcoin, right? They can get some foreign cash, like a US dollar, right? So that's a good idea actually for some high interest country to get maybe like reduce the Russia interest from 10% to about 1%. Right? It's a good idea. I think it's a good idea for some country.
I was thinking what HSBC could do. They would need access to the payment system, and their regulator might not be very happy.
Yeah,
nothing to stop a global bank doing it.
Right. I think SBC right now actually SBC, Swiss bank, and there is 2 U.S. bank like a Citibank and another New York Minimum Bank also getting involved. They are working together to doing a Bitcoin. But the problem with their like a blockchain currency is that they are generally tied to certain value, right? So people actually like it. There's no big corporation getting involved, right? So anything, any coin, any blockchain, if they are initialized by a government or a big corporation, has a big risk get controlled by the government, right? Government someday can send the soldier and say, hey, Minimum Bank, give me all the name of those who own the coin, right? Then the Minimum Bank has to comply, right? So people don't like to buy the coin sponsored by big bank. Maybe, right? This is another problem. So this is one of the reasons we have 2 networks. If government someday come into our company, say, hey, give me all the name of those who own the coin. We can shut down our system. The government take away our system. But the second year will continue to run anonymously, right? Technically, the government cannot stop our network, even if they close our company. Maybe someday I go to the jail, right? But still, nobody can stop it, right? So this is part of the reason why we have 2 layers.
So I have a question about the economics, I guess. So I guess you're building this technology to kind of parallel blockchain technology. So the way your customers you're charging this 1 cent transaction fee. That's how you would make money to pay for all this technology.
Good question. basically, I supposed to cover that one, but I forgot. Basically, the idea is this. First of all, the transaction card is like the credit card is charging 2.5%, right, for the supermarket or retailer. Usually, in the retailer, their money circulates 4 times per year because they sold the good, and then they will use the money to buy again, and then sold again, sold again. Usually go 4 or 5 times per year. So each time they give the Visa or MasterCard 2.5. If 4 times, then it's about 10% per year, right? So how much money the supermarket made per year? It's less than 10%, right? Usually it's about 5 to 10%. So that's the money they give to the bank and credit is a lot. So what we found out, if we charge like a 0.1%, similar to the, it's actually more than the 1 cent. The 1 cent, we will talk about the telecom billing system, our cost, right? Cost is usually about 1 cent per transaction. So our cost is very low, it's about 1%. But in order to make money, we probably need to charge about 0.1%, right? It's slightly higher than 1 cent, so that we can make some money. And I think some people was calculating, we take about like 4 to 5 years, we can make money by doing the transaction.
Yeah, I guess so. Who is your customers? Who are your customers?
The retailer, because as I said, we have a Bitcoin network, right? We have a second layer of the Bitcoin network.
It's on top of Bitcoin. It doesn't rely on separate coin offerings. This is.
Yes, we have a retailer interface. We have a coin and the fiat currency, US dollar or Hong Kong dollar transaction system, and also, for example, you get like 100 of a coin, right? You go to a supermarket. The supermarket sometimes they would allow you to use our coin because the transaction fee is 0.1%. It's much better than use Visa, right? In that way, because for them, the transaction can be done very fast. The fluctuation became not important because usually it's very short time, right? They can get the money and immediately cash out into US dollar, right? So what kind of media to transaction is not important for the supermarket. What is the fee low is important for them, right? They would allow you to spend this. But for some retailer, they are not our partner. They didn't accept our coin. Then in that case, your wallet will automatically exchange our coin into US dollar. We will do that for you. So immediately you can use, for example, the goods is $10, right? We will convert your coin, a little bit of your coin into $10, and you use the $10 will be transmitted to the retailer through our exchange.
So so maybe a related question. So what is the biggest sort of technology challenge you guys are facing in the next year or so to implement this vision? Are all the problems solved, or you just going to find retailers to buy in, or what's the next step?
The biggest problem in my current situation actually is not technical, it's more the funding issue, because we have a big problem in terms of funding. The reason is this. Currently, people just hire a developer, spend 1 day to write a smart function, and they issue a coin on the Ethereum network, right? Their cost is only 1 developer. So the cost is so low, they will give 60% of the sale of the coin in the ISO to the retail network, like the people who has lots of user to buy the coin, right? That is the problem. They give 60% to the retailer. So the retailer says, hey, we need 60%. But for me, I don't want to give that 60%, right? Because network is very expensive. Our technology investment is very big, right? We have very expensive, good developers. So kind of, I couldn't do that deal. And also in the US, there is very heavy government intervention, right? You cannot pay a lot of cash to the retailer, and potentially you carry also. Some of the retailers actually talk to me, say, you make a mistake. Why do you? Right now we only have all the developers. We don't have anyone doing marketing or the sales. See, the retailer tell us, don't do that. Don't hire any developer, just hire sales, marketing people. Because at the time, when you do SEO, nobody knows you can do it or not, right? They basically, their cost is very low. They only hire some people who carry a name on their company. They don't even have a developer. So that's the problem. Basically, is that most of the money is being taken away by the retailer, technically speaking. So we are kind of became the, because we invested so much, we have a big advantage in technology, right? We have innovation. We think our technology is very valuable. We don't want to say, hey, you just a retailer will give you 60% of the revenue, right? So we kind of, right now in that stage, but technically we don't have a problem. But because we don't have a problem, we don't want to give up 60% to that. We want to hold on our ground right now. That's our situation. But technically, we know eventually we'll go through this because there are actually some investor, they realize we have something very big potential. So I think we also believe ourselves. We can go through this without even not income from the ICO, like the retailer. So that's part of the biggest challenge for now. I don't know whether I answered your question.
I think your company earned money from this coin, and actually earned money from the transaction fee or something else. And actually, the purpose of the Bitcoin is one of the purpose of Bitcoin is decentralization, right?
Right.
And your company actually is sort of a centralization of this type of coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody may concern about what if this centralization cause some problem, and what's your opinion?
Good question. Basically, this is one of the reasons we have two layers of the network.
Yeah.
Because the first layer is completely decentralized, right? No government, no agency can stop it, the first layer. The second layer, technically, yeah, government can come in and say, hey, shut down the first one, I will sue you, right? So technically, the second layer can be shut down, right? But if that thing happens, then the first layer will continue to operate, and the people can still use the coin, right? It's just a little bit slower than the two-layer system, right? But in the meantime, we will also optimize the first layer to make them faster. And also, I believe that government increasingly has realized that the Bitcoin industry, the blockchain actually is benefited to the commercial banking system, because banking system has been there the same way for 2 centuries, right? It's like 2 centuries ago, banking has been this way. There's no big improvement, right? There's big monopoly by the big bank. So this kind of blockchain get you into the compete with the government, compete with the current bank, compete with the Visa and MasterCard, right? More competition usually bring the cost of the consumer, right? The consumer eventually will pay less to the Visa, because Visa eventually they will have to get into the competition and reduce their rate, right? So overall, this kind of thing is good for the global technology, financial industry in general.
And what's the relationship between the two layers? And what's the job of the layer that your company works on?
Right now we are working on the first layer in the lab. We can send money to each other similar to Bitcoin. The second layer initially will be very centralized. But once we have the centralized system, we will have certain part of the operation merged together. And we'll optimize them together. So our company will mostly working on the parallel part, the third layer, the layer between the two. And that layer will become the dominant layer in our system. And that layer eventually will also be very, very decentralized. But it will not be very decentralized at the very beginning. We were working on that. Because initially people were not, if right now, for example, if I directly go to parallel blockchain, many people will not accept it, especially some hardcore Bitcoin fan. They will think, oh, you are doing something very radically different. So that will cause problem for our company, right? So in order for the market to better accept us, so we initially will go very hardcore Bitcoin. But once the company get it established, we prove we can do things very well and correctly, right? And people will start to give us credit, and when we change something gradually. And also for us, it is also easier to change gradually, right? If you jump big, if you suddenly move to 1 mile away, it's very difficult, right? You have to work one step at a time. So we will gradually move to that parallel system. And I think by the time we get it ready, we will already have some trust within people and the government, right? And people will be more easily accept us. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, if no, thanks
Okay,
to the
okay.
speaker.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.